On this channel, I've made a lot of, claims that I'm not masochistic. And today, I'm going to prove that. I mean, okay, I might have some tendencies that make me look maybe submissive or masochistic, but I do want to prove that I'm not one of those people out there that's one of those hungry weebs in quotation marks. I've said it before, much like Kazuma. Oop, I just bumped the microphone. Much like Kazuma, I am an addict. Not adequate, I am an advocate for true gender equality. You hit me, I hit back regardless of who you are, what you do, and what you do it for. And to prove this, I shall show myself not giving into temptation.
A little temptation, of course.
Okay, wait, hold up. Let me find some adequate, there I go, using that word correctly now, clips for this rather than resorting to wild arms again. Be right back.
Oh no, I don't do this. Men love to submit to cute women like me, so I really don't have to do anything at all except look pretty.
Oh, Calvaris. You really assume a lot about us men, don't you? Yes, it is true, some men fall for that. However, I am not some men.
I'll wipe you out.
Don't take that out of context. But come on, Calvaris. Words mean nothing if you don't do anything.
Are you trying to mess with our heads?
Well, I do make reviews on animes that are really goofy, so yeah, I do kind of mess with people's heads.
And I really don't care to listen to your stupid nonsense anymore.
It's not nonsense if it's true. I'm sorry to break my whole tough guy character here, but it really isn't nonsense if it's true. Plus, freedom of speech exists. What, do you not have the ability to ignore me? You're so attractive and dominant that men submit to you, but you can't get one man to shut up? I mean, come on, Calvaris. What are you gonna do, whip me to death?
I feel bad about doing this, but you have to die.
And that's what I get for suggesting something to my enemies. Yikes!
12 seconds later.
I'm sorry, mistress. Yeah, I'll be a good kitty, I promise. Okay. I'm wasting too much time with this opening skit. Let's get on to the review now. Jeez, the things I do for views. Greetings, comrades, and hello, everyone. I'm Quinn866. Welcome back to the Anime Memories Retrospective's next review. Now, since this is part 2 of Sailor Moon R, since, as I've said before in the Makai Tree arc, Sailor Moon R is divided into 2 arcs, the Makai Tree arc and the Black Moon Clan arc. The Black Moon Clan arc is obviously what we're covering now. It comes recommended that you watch the Makai Tree arc first, but, of course, you don't have to if you don't want to, but for context and for newcomers to the retrospective, I recommend glossing over or skimming through the other videos since I'll make lots of comparisons. But I've made this remark many times before, and I'm not going to spend an overly long slide of the playlist screenshot there. So let's get right into the review and waste no time. Something I intentionally didn't bring up in the Dark Kingdom, as well as the Makai Tree arc, was actually the character development. Now, just for those who don't know, there will always be a new character segment in every arc of Sailor Moon's review, regardless of what it is, since there will be new villains, new characters, and just a few new stuff to go off of, so I just want to point that out. But something I intentionally didn't bring up is, hello Sam, was the character development. You see, in Sailor Moon, each arc definitely leans towards developing a certain character or a certain group of characters. Now, you would think Sailor Moon Classic would develop Usagi herself. Ironically, though, I kind of think the other Sailor Scouts got the development more. Now, granted, there were still some that didn't have quite enough to work off of, like Venus and Mercury especially. I mean, you'd think Venus would have the least amount of development since she was the last Scout introduced, but no, she got a few episodes to herself. We got an entire flashback episode, and for, you know, people who know the codename Sailor V series being the prototype Sailor Moon, you should have enough to go off of. But and Ray got some especially big development in the first season with her love interest Heiichi, the other dude at the shrine. But I feel like Sailor Moon Season 1, the Dark Kingdom arc, really didn't develop the characters that well. I mean, even though, you know, Mars/Ray and Makoto/Jupiter definitely got some development. And Tuxedo Mask even got a lot of development in that arc because of his whole I don't know who I am, flashing out of memories, and when he got turned into Endymion. That was character development, but Usagi didn't really have character development. Now, that's to say they didn't try, and there was moments of character development, but it was really outshined by other characters getting the spotlight in Arc 1. Usagi/Sailor Moon did have development in Season 1. I'm not denying it. I mean, it's called Sailor Moon, so therefore it's gonna be about Sailor Moon. However, it really only nailed it at the very end and during specific episodes, but it broke off more often than not, and real talk, people, this one strengthened Tuxedo Mask/Mamoru more than Usagi/Sailor Moon. Now, okay, I know that's subjective, but if I can say anything about Tuxedo Mask being better than the character the series is named after, then that's saying something, especially for a first season. Even then, other characters still got development, and I think that was the biggest problem. Usagi's development got put on the back burner so many times to develop the other characters, to the point I started caring about the other characters. I mean, it was not just about Sailor Moon developing as a character, no, it was about Mercury being smart at school, but being wrong. And you know, I gave Mercury a lot of flack in that regard, however, I do realize that it is a good character arc, being smart, but being wrong. I think that's actually a really good way to describe Ami/Sailor Mercury. And it wasn't just her either, it was about Ray/Sailor Mars, trying to not let her father pressure her into being the next Shrine Maiden. It was about her, you know, trying to tell her father, I want to be me, I want to do what I want, even if that means doing stuff on the side. That's really endearing, it's about being yourself. Sailor Jupiter had a similar story about being herself, but also tying into the fact that she needs to let go of past lovers and move towards a better future, and not exactly put on this big mask of being a cold, hard, strong warrior. See, this stuff I can get behind, and the problem is, again, Usagi's development was put on the back burner several times and only really emerged at the very, very end and during specific episodes when it called for it. And even other characters that got introduced later on, like I said with Mako, had more moments to juggle around. And even Sailor Venus had way more development about wanting to be in the spotlight, not just for love, but for the sake of being grateful, for the sake of having attention, for the sake of being a star, as it were. The whole goddess of love thing is just another reason to it. And you know, this could even be said for the villains. It was about Nephrite trying to become human and turning his back on the ways of the Dark Kingdom. It was also about how Naru saw Nephrite was, yes, dangerous, but he was still human, or at the very least, he could become one. And that's what made his death all the more tragic for both Naru, Nephrite, and myself. I mean, Nephrite is one of my favorite elites, and it just goes without saying. And it wasn't even just Nephrite. Take Kunzite and Zoisite, for instance. I mean, Zoisite I said I liked more than Kunzite, but Kunzite got way more development, with him coming to terms that the Sailor Guardians managed to have Zoisite be defeated and Queen Beryl punish Zoisite, thus making Kunzite want to go out of his way to kill the Sailor Guardians in revenge for his lover Zoisite. And yes, I do ship Kunzite and Zoisite. I mean, we have lesbian relations in Sailor Moon, so why not have a gay one? Like, I know the four Kingsmen were supposed to, have feelings before they were brainwashed into being, with Beryl, but I actually think Zoisite and Kunzite is actually a pretty good ship, all things considered. But regardless of that fact, I do think the development was there. It just doesn't shine as much as the later seasons. Okay, to be fair, I know that can be said for, the other Sailor Guardians, how they had, episodes here and there, and they only really nailed at the end. However, I understand that, especially in the case of Jupiter and Venus. I understand that because they were introduced really late on. So I understand them, having that kind of formula. And I can even understand that with Ami/Sailor Mercury and Rei/Sailor Mars at this rate. However, for Usagi, this is a pretty big misstep, because it makes a lot of Usagi's development take a major backseat during parts of the anime where they could be developing her alongside the other Sailor Guardians, but they really didn't. And that's why Tuxedo Mask, in my opinion, got some of the best development in the first season. Now, granted, his development goes steeply downwards after that, but if I was judging based on the first season alone, without any knowledge of anything else, I would have put Tuxedo Mask above certain Sailor Scouts in the character ranking. But of course, he got bumped down when watching later seasons. But still, I digress. With that character development rant out of the way, let's talk about the new characters now. Starting with Chibiusa. Yeah, okay, I'm not waiting. She is Usagi and Mamoru's daughter from the future. In the future, Usagi became Neo Queen Serenity, while Mamoru became the new King Endymion. Chibiusa is visiting the past because, well, let's just say things in the future ain't going too well. Chibiusa also has this little cat orb plushie thing called Luna P, and trust me, that is story significant, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I really do like Chibiusa, and she used to be my second favorite guardian of them all, alongside Sailor Mars. She used to be in the top 3. No, it's not because I'm the youngest of my family and I can relate, or because I like bratty characters, but we'll get to that when we get to that. On the way, the Guardians also meet Sailor Pluto, who is good, mysterious, and actually a pretty nice character, but she doesn't really do much apart from act as the fill-in Guardian for Chibiusa, since, as I said before, the future ain't exactly going too great for Neo Queen Serenity and the new King Endymion, who are, respectively, Usagi and Mamoru in the future. The new villains of this arc are the Black Moon Clan, which is pretty obvious since it's the Black Moon Clan arc. They're a group of other beings who used to live on the moon, but were exiled once Neo Queen Serenity, well, sent them off for some reason. Now they want to go back in time and try and take the moon for themselves because they feel they were unjustly exiled. And this is actually a pretty decent justification for a lot of their actions. New monsters / minions of the week are the droids, these creatures made with these little crystals here, which is good since we won't have to deal with purification, and the Sailor Scouts can go off. A few are good like the Ice Witch and the Red Wine Demon, yes, I did just say that out loud, but a few are stupid like one that is literally, I kid you not, a perfume bottle, like what? A fruit tree that dances and shoots exploding avocados, like huh? And a electric drum? They were grasping at straws here for some of these people. My favorites were the one that enters the dream, since that's actually a pretty good strategy, and the Death Scythe, since it's the only male one, and Wise Man personally sent this one out. We need more male monsters of the week, people. Just saying. I've decided to put on the leather jacket again, because, I don't know, I kind of look good in the leather jacket. I don't know, I'm gonna wear this a little more often. But, anyways. Do I like these basic monsters / minions of the week more than the Yoma Demons of the Dark Kingdom or the Guardians of the Makai Tree aliens? I don't know, truth be told. Under logical circumstances, I would say the Yoma Demons of the first season are my favorite monsters/minions of the week for having the most intimidating designs, in my opinion, as well as having the most amount of basic monsters/minions of the week, since 46 episodes worth of demons is a lot more than 9 episodes, or 38 episodes, or basically insert any other number here episodes. But the Yoma demons also do feel like they kind of come out of nowhere at times, especially the DD girls, which is another reason why I really argue against that fight being one of the best, because they kind of came out of nowhere. But the point is, overall, I know what villain, clan, or faction I personally enjoy the most in Sailor Moon. I also know what elites and big bads I enjoy the most, but the monster/minions of the week are really just there to be a bonus. I can't really say which monster/minion of the week I like the most. Now, conceptually, I can say which I can, but in execution, that's really difficult. So, if you were to ask me what monster faction from Sailor Moon is my favorite, I couldn't tell you because I don't have a definitive answer in that regard. The new elites of this arc are actually pretty good. We have the Bull Brothers, Kyril, and Akyril. We have the 4 Phantom Sisters, starting with Koan, who rivals Sailor Mars, Berthier, who rivals Sailor Mercury, Calvaris, the girl I showed in the intro skit, who rivals Sailor Venus, and Pets, rivaling Sailor Jupiter. Putting it frankly, the Phantom Sisters literally did the DD Girls formula better. The 4 Phantom Sisters have different interests, they have unique personalities, they have interesting themes, and they have their own abilities that rightfully counter each of their respective Sailor Guardian rival. See, people? This is how you do the DD girls right. I know. That final fight was really good in the first arc. The DD girls, Endymion, Queen Beryl/Metalia, that 3-phase fight was really good. Now, personally, I had lots of issues with the second phase with Endymion/Tuxedo Mask. And while I did like the final phase, I really hated the memory loss cliche at the end. But the DD Girls fight has topped several people's lists for the best Sailor Moon fight, and I just don't agree with it. Now, yes, it is a good fight, and it is the best death scene in the series, but I really don't think the DD Girls themselves should get as much credit as people give them. Like, yeah, they're the Yuma counterparts to the Sailor Guardians, and okay, I guess that's true. They have, the color contrast, and they managed to kill each of their respective rivals except for Usagi, but they didn't have a lot to go off of as characters. Furthermore, they came out of nowhere. We had to talk about the 7 strongest Yoma demons with the rainbow crystals, and yet you don't bring up these girls then? Like, what the heck? The 4 Phantom Sisters don't come out of nowhere. That's another plus. I mean, I know the 4 Phantom Sisters are still kind of hateable, but at least I can get behind that and I can actually enjoy this. See, people? Sailor Moon R just has so much more to work off of. Even the other elites, like Rubius, are pretty good. Now, he's still just as hateable as Jadat, but he gets way more fun stuff. The Advisor Wise Man is a great character that's really shady and sticks out amongst the other elites, including of Esmeralda. Okay, she's still pretty hateable, and she has the laugh, but still. We have Sapphire, who's actually a really good character, as he acts as the doubtful one, questioning the original big bad, Prince Demand, of whether or not this can be considered justifiable to go back into the past and claim the moon for their own, but still. All in all, the Black Moon Clan's elites have the most balanced variety of characters. We have plenty of males, we have plenty of females. Now, I stood before the 4 Kingsmen of Heaven, though, as elites. Why do I say that? To be fair, the 4 Kingsmen had way more moments to go off of, and many, and I mean many of these elites don't quite get a lot of things that Villain Elite in Sailor Moon should have gotten. The Bull Brothers, Kyril, and Akyril get the 1-episode treatment despite having the design and kind of the feeling of elites, which is a bit sad. Other villains like Pets and Calvaris actually don't even get full-on episodes to themselves, as Calvaris and Pets join each other on missions, even including their final battle, which is a bit sad, but I understand it's to not waste time. And Sapphire, well, Sapphire doesn't even fight. I get it, he's the doubtful one, but still, would've liked some power before you died, man. And I'm going to let all of the clips do the talking for me when it comes to Esmeralda.
Esmeralda. I suggest you remember how your predecessor Rubius died. You must be extremely careful.
That will envelop and destroy the entire world with dark power.
Oh God, shut up! That laugh used to terrify me as a kid, but now that shit's ear-grating. Esmeralda, if you want Demand Senpai to notice you, stop doing that laugh and go shove that face of yours into cake or something.
Oh, how can this be so good? I've never tasted anything like this.
Then again, that's what I get for suggesting shit to my enemies.
Oh, she embarrassed how stuffing her face like that. I'll see her.
Oh, excuse me.
Just because the Black Moon Clan has more variety and options doesn't mean all those variety and options were automatically better. Furthermore, God, why is it so hot? It's the freaking beginning of November. I was gonna wear this jacket for the rest of us, but now I'm sweating. Sorry, guys. Overall, I like the Black Moon Clan way more than the Dark Kingdom and the Makai Tree aliens especially. Now, I still prefer the 4 Kingsmen of Heaven over the elites here, but even so, the Black Moon Clan definitely edges out the Dark Kingdom. I think even if the 4 Kingsmen of Heaven are still my favorite elites to this date, that might change upon watching later arcs and seeing their elites again for the reviews. And the 3 big bads, Demand, Wise Man, and Wicked Lady, I'll get to that last one later, will come during the story segment. And if you're wondering why I didn't show Wicked Lady for those who don't know, you'll soon see.
This idea of yours, but I'll do whatever it takes to win Prince Demand's heart. Even if I have to make a deal with the devil.
Not this, Wicked Lady. Why couldn't you just get replaced by a dragon or something cooler?
Die in your arms.
Such a pathetic fool.
You couldn't even get that right! Wow, once again, I am backlashed for suggesting stuff to my enemies.
Oh, right! You were just born, so you don't have a name yet, do you? Okay, with that long neck of yours, I'll call you Giraffe. That'll be your name. Hello, Giraffe. Let's be friends forever.
Okay, I had postponed this segment in the Makai Tree arc because I really wanted to talk about how great the music is here now with all the new characters and connections set aside. The audio for this season is, real talk, much better than the first. Now, there are still plenty of certain scenes and themes I prefer. For instance, I actually really prefer the original transformation music of the first season. I always loved that one. Just has this more, retro style to it I like. And the villain themes aren't actually as jazzy this time. Now, a few of them are. A few of them are. Specifically, Rubius's is pretty jazzy, if I recall correctly. It's not just Rubius's theme either. There are some other tracks that also retain the jazz. Like, I believe one of the Black Moon Clan's plotting themes or general themes has a jazzy feel to it as well. However, more often than not, the villain tracks actually try to go for a more ominous and mystical approach to the whole time-traveling thing Chibiusa does when she inevitably takes them to the future to fight off the rest of the Black Moon Clan. Of course, it still has the slice of life music that's just about as giddy and happy, with the emotional music as well for whenever you need it. Something, however, I want to give credit to is that in the first season, the themes for the fights in particular were pretty jazzy, and a few of them were badass too, with, the sad tracks for those more dramatic battles. But I like how the fight themes here definitely have more of an eerie and ominous vibe, and, a few of them do retain the jazz bits for the music, like the droid theme, for instance, still kind of retains the same kind of jazzy feel to it with the night and the stars Sailor Moon goes for. But a few of the new battle themes are really good, with some of my favorites in the franchise being here. When it comes down to the things I review in Sailor Moon, the audio remains pretty consistent for the most part. There are a few times where the audio will crank up and I'll love it, and a few times where it might be a minor disappointment, but overall, the audio in Sailor Moon is consistently good, and one of the few things that remain consistent across every single arc of the 90s anime.
Rubius, you only have one option for staying alive. Eliminate the rabbit and the Sailor Guardians.
I am aware of that, and I'm more than willing to sacrifice every one of my pawns to be able to grab the glory of victory.
The story takes place directly after the Makai Tree arc, and one thing I want to point out that, a lot of people really complain about is Chibiusa. People say she's annoying, people say she's spoiled, and she really breaks the pace. However, I humbly disagree. Chibiusa, in my opinion, and this is going to be one of my boldest claims ever, is the primary source of both Usagi, Mamoru, and Chibiusa's own character development. Now hold on, I know people out there who avidly think Chibiusa is annoying will differ, but remember, this is family we're talking about here, and what develops a family is, well, the people in it. And Chibiusa being the ultimate product of Usagi and Mamoru's romance in the future really does show. The Black Moon Clan arc might follow a very formulaic structure, but it has way more little details and things to make it interesting. It starts out fairly standard fare with fights with the 4 Phantom Sisters, their droids, what have you and whatnot, building up to the elites, and it's still good stuff. Characters don't have to exactly slog through getting upgrades since the Makai Tree arc did that, and we have good fights along the way that use their new abilities well enough. However, what has changed though is the romance between Usagi and Mamoru. Now that, yes, they have confirmed their love for each other at the end of the first season, the Makai Tree arc, Mamoru starts getting strange visions of the future of Crystal Tokyo, warning him that if he continues loving Usagi, it might get to the point that both of them could die, thus erasing their love, their child, and their powers. He doesn't tell Usagi this, which really he should have, but this causes some love drama that might seem really trite and cliche since we know it's gonna be okay. I will admit I will 100% take this love drama over a nightmare, over the, oh, I'm Mamoru, I'm mean because I don't know my past, but then Usagi finds out and he finds out. I mean, again, it's still a bit trite, but I will take it over what we got in the first season. And it also adds for, I'm sorry to say it, good character development, especially with Chibiusa being thrown in the middle of it all. I mean, I know Chibiusa is considered annoying, but acting as the middle person for Usagi and Mamoru does give her a really crucial position. Along the way, they managed to purify the 4 sisters, starting with Koan, after Rubius hands her a really, really nasty middle finger of letting her die to kill the Sailor Scouts with this giant dark energy fire orb. But the Sailor Scouts purify her once she sees that Rubius didn't really care about the four sisters' individuality, but he more cared about just being able to get the mission done so he can go home and get the proper justice and glory from it. Then, they manage to purify Berthier next, who, believe it or not, is surprisingly changed by Koan, rather than the sisters. I mean, okay, the Scouts still are the ones that purified her, but Koan was a major motivator to Berthier's transformation. Then, Pets and Calvaris manage to get purified after one another when Rubius gives Pets, I believe, a lightning stick, and she turns against Calvaris, but then the lightning stick malfunctions, creating a vortex, thus allowing them to purify them both. This triggers Rubius, who, much like Jadeite, did not a lot, just hiding behind his minions. But this time, unlike Jadeite, Rubius actually manages to do quite a lot by capturing the other Sailor Scouts, forcing Chibiusa and Usagi to fight him one-on-one. And this leads to an excellent fight. And you know, I always complain about how Sailor Moon never has a challenge, but the Rubius fight is a perfect example against that logic. In the Rubius fight, Sailor Moon got her ass kicked. Literally, Rubius manages to use gravity both in his favor and against Usagi. And it was also great since Chibiusa was really useful, removing the crystal, which was the source of his gravity-defying powers. I mean, I know it's still obvious Sailor Moon was gonna win, but they made it way more tense with the other Sailor Scouts crucified, I'm not kidding, crucified on crystal crosses, and Chibiusa trying to contribute in her own little unique way, as small as it may be. But then the ship starts to burn, and the Scouts escape, leaving Rubius to try and fend for himself. Esmeralda shows up, but literally ditches Rubius in the dying ship, and he is just gone. Now with Rubius dead, a good twist is revealed that Luna P, Chibiusa's little cat orb plushie, is actually Sailor Pluto. See, people? Sailor Moon can do twists right. This was the first good twist in Sailor Moon, by the way. Luna P was how Sailor Pluto contacted and, well, talked with Chibiusa. She reveals that all the Sailor Scouts, including Chibiusa, will need to go forth in time to fight the rest of the Black Moon Clan and ultimately find out what their goals are. It's revealed that the Black Moon Clan were originally residents of the moon that lived alongside Queen Serenity back before Season 1. However, after doing some shady stuff and some things that were really questionable, it's not really specified what, the Black Moon Clan was exiled to a distant planet, or moon, and ever since then they grew a deep grudge for the people of the moon, who they believed unjustly kicked them all out, all because certain people in their clan did some shady stuff. Now Demand wants to get Usagi, who is, the newly reborn Serenity / Sailor Moon, to his side, so he can rebuild the moon in favor of both his people and the people that were lost. However, Tuxedo Mask manages to save the day, and it's later revealed that the visions Tuxedo Mask had were actually a massive test sent from the future to see whether or not he wanted to love Usagi that much. Now, it is a bit of a dickish move to send, dreams that make you break up, but even so, it's pretty predictable they wouldn't get back together anyways. Wise Man, however, manages to manipulate Chibiusa and reveals a lot about her and how she felt responsible for why the future was so desolate, since she took the silver crystal after being constantly shunned by all the people around her in the future, saying she was not ladylike. She wasn't like her mother, and she acted very differently. This is why I really like Chibiusa's character, and why I believe she actually would let Wise Man turn her. Chibiusa's struggle isn't about being a brat and being mature, it's because she was labeled. She was constantly sought out and told off for just being a kid that didn't take after her mother, and this is why I relate with Chibiusa. In a weird way, she was discriminated, thus making her transformation into Wicked Lady a pretty dark one. I mean, I still prefer Tuxedo Mask as Endymion in the evil twist of Arc 1, but Black Lady adds some really interesting dynamics, since she's just a kid. I mean, yeah, she takes the appearance of, an evil, adult version of Chibiusa, but she still has the mentality of a child. just twisted by Wise Man's lies and deception, making her think if she joins the Black Moon clan, that she can help them on the side of quotation marks evil, correct what they did wrong. But of course, Wise Man just being a shady douchebag. However, Sapphire eventually dies, thus causing Demand to doubt the ways of Wise Man, who reveals that the Death Phantom, the true big bad of the series, or the arc, is behind it all, and Wise Man was serving the Death Phantom. Now, it might seem a little bit rushed to mention the Death Phantom so late on, but at the very least, it's revealed Wise Man is actually the Death Phantom in a weaker form. I'll take that over introducing a hasty last-minute villain. Believe me, Sailor Moon has done that, where they introduce a last-minute villain a little too late, but regardless. As Demand starts to soften up to Usagi, and starts to realize trying to force her to be on his side isn't gonna work, Wise Man, aka Death Phantom, shows up to do this really cool battle with Demand. And really, I'm not even kidding when I say this is one of my favorite fights in the series. I mean, they have this really cool energy clash that's heavily reminiscent of DBZ. I mean, hell, Dragon Ball Z style clashes in Sailor Moon? That shit's rad! Of course, Demand doesn't make it to try and save Sailor Moon, but he does manage to significantly damage Wise Man. And when we see Wise Man laugh, revealing under that cloak is just a skull with red eyes, and a very realistic one, was actually pretty scary. One of the first few things I really felt a sense of ominousness from. Demand dies, so I don't really know why Sailor Moon didn't purify him, since she purified the four sisters. And I understand her not purifying Esmeralda and Rubius, but Sapphire and Demand are just kind of dead for no good reason, but whatever. Wiseman tries to manipulate Sailor Moon, but she's too smart for that shit and won't let the same thing happen to her that happened to Chibiusa. Wiseman reveals that the Death Phantom will reawaken and he will be complete once again. Still, I'm gonna be honest, I will take this 100% over introducing a last-minute hasty villain. Pharaoh 90, chaos, but still. Anyways, afterwards we get an emotional fight where the girls manage to purify Wicked Lady back into Chibiusa, but Death Phantom / Wise Man has reawakened. Now this causes an epic and, in my opinion, the best final fight in the series, where Usagi and Chibiusa have a giant clash with Wise Man / Death Phantom in a really moving scene with great music too. Remember how in the DD Girls, the Endymion fight, and the Metalia / Beryl fight, they reused the main theme, which was good and it worked for the time, but it was a little bit lazy. Here, they use a completely new track that really fits in an epic clash with the Death Phantom. I mean, okay, the main theme is still good, but here they put in way more effort actively finding in a song that fit with the fight. They defeat the Death Phantom / Wise Man, causing things to go back to normal, the future to become bright and prosperous again, and Chibiusa decides to finally go home with her true parents, seeing that she wasn't labeled. She wasn't being hard on for the sake of, you know, her parents trying to punish her. They were doing this way to teach her to be independent, and that makes the ending really satisfying. My only complaint with the finale is that the very last episode of this arc is a generic clip show, preview, flashback, whatever you call it, recap episode.
That episode sucks ass, by the way.
Apart from that, though, this was a really good season. It's not my personal favorite, nor was it even my favorite way back when. In fact, a majority of the season, believe it or not, I forgot. Now, I obviously remembered, you know, the finale for, you know, obvious reasons, and I remembered Chibiusa. But the other things I didn't really remember. Like, I completely forgot the Makai Tree arc when going back to this series. I also, believe it or not, did not remember Demand, Sapphire, and Esmeralda. I always remembered the four Phantom Sisters and Rubius, but I actually forgot that part of the series, and I remembered Wiseman, of course, because, you know, he appeared advising them. But yeah, a lot of the series I had originally forgot. But this was an arc that, upon a second rewatch, I really grew a lot more appreciation for, and I can wholeheartedly say it's so much more fun than the first season. Really, people, I don't know how else to say here. Sailor Moon R is just more entertaining, which is what entertainment of any kind, movie, film, book, whatever, you should make it enjoyable. And Sailor Moon R is just that. It's way more enjoyable than the first arc for me personally. I understand people have a soft spot for the first arc. The Dark Moon, or Black. I can't even. These names are so weird. The Dark Kingdom arc is a fun time and it's iconic. It's the original. I do appreciate it. But the Dark Kingdom arc really has dropped in quality with the passing of time. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still some dated stuff here. But I'm not, like, complaining about it being dated. I'm, like, really, people, I know what you're thinking. Well, isn't this arc dated too? Absolutely it's dated, but it's certainly more enjoyable. People, I'm not praising it because it's not outdated or whatever. This arc is still outdated. Most of the series is pretty outdated, but it's so much more cohesive. It flows better, it does what it's supposed to, and it doesn't drag. Really, people, this arc is so good. This is why I'm giving the entirety of Season 2, both the Makai Tree arc and the Black Moon Clan arc, a 7.7 out of 10. I'm Quinn866, have a good one, and stick to the end for some bloopers. Okie dokie then. So, the characters. Obviously, this segment will always stay in every video, no matter which arc of Sailor... Oh. Sam! I'm trying to record!
I cannot tell when I am not here.
Yeah, okay, good point. I mean, hey, man, I don't know. Spiders ain't any of my business.
But it's enough. I want to bump into a spider web.
Here, use the broom, whack it down.
No, I'm a coward.
Dude, you're letting the spiders beat you if you're not willing to whack their webs away.
The ring will get it one of these days.
Actually, no, that's what they want. You think spiders might be bugs, but they're smart. They know how to get out of the rain. That's why part of them make webs under the roofs, actually, which is where the spider web is. So yeah, do yourself a favor and just whack it down with the broom.
Also, one of these days I'm going to make a try something. I just tried Gochujang.
What?
Gochujang. Yes.
What is it?
Some sort of Asian sweet and spicy.
Not one much of a spicy guy.
Not that much spicy.
Yeah, but dude, if I can't eat hot Cheetos and people consider those tame, then I'm not eating that. Yeah, call me a wimp for spice, but you know what? 90% spicy, 10% sweet? No. Get out of here. Get out of here, Sam. You're not fooling me. Automatically. I have trust issues with spice. I have trust issues.
I meant to say 90% sweet.
I don't trust you. It's not. If you make that no.
Never know.
Yes, I would know, dude. Believe me, I'm sensitive to spice. Actually, should be told, spice can actually, okay, it's not like, okay, obviously, I wouldn't die to spice, but there are some people that do have a sensitive reactions to spice. Like how my brother is really a sensitive beast. Now, he's not exactly allergic to them per se, but he definitely has very heavy reactions that could be considered like an allergy. But anyways, I am still recording this. I literally have 2 minutes of us doing a banter session. The Black Clune? Clune from Star Wars. I think you have a new nickname. No, I can't sing that. I can't sing that. Sounds no god, that sounds so bad. Okay. Something that I intentionally did not bring up in the Black Moon Clan arc is this one. God dang us. I also like how why is World Market texting me for get $5 reward points for every $50 you spend on gift cards? Offer ends November 7th. Yeah, I totally needed this in the middle of my recording, guys. Wow. Yeah, I know what my Nerf gun sounds like. I know when you're holding it in your hand. You wouldn't go rustling around there if I didn't put my Nerf gun there. Even if it is something else, I don't really care. As long as you don't shoot me, I'm fine. If you don't shoot me and if you don't hurt me in any single way, I will not hold you against it. But if you hurt me, I'm pulling out my brass knuckles. And no, I don't actually own brass knuckles. I mean, my knuckles are literally made of brass. I've told you before, I'm not human, and I mean that. Both figuratively and truthfully. Well, I mean, now's not really the best time for that. Can't you see I'm recording, man? Yeah, but I mean, I still have to record and edit. It's a long process. Thank you. Just so you know, you're being recorded right now. I kind of just wanted to let you know that, buddy. Hey, man. Hey, man. Maybe you should read the room, man.